we're going to talk today about regional practices and why we think that city lawyers or metropolitan firms should actually consider expanding into the regions. But what I'd like to say first and foremost is that with the advance of technology, I don't believe it's absolutely essential now to have satellite sites for your firm close by. There should be nothing stopping you from, or a prospect from, expanding into a successful practice in the regions. I think we've found that generally our prospects who are looking to expand their firms are thinking, well, if we can centralise administration, then really we can be expanding to sites all over the country. We mainly deal with New South Wales, but technology is allowing us, everyone, to work far and wider. What do you think, Peter?
So that really deals with two issues or solves two problems. One is meeting clients and getting to know them and understanding their needs. And then the other is getting the work done, getting people to do the legal work. What are your views on how technology can deal with those two separate issues?
I suppose I would think that every law firm should have someone there so that if a potential client walks through the door, then someone is there to greet them. So that's a given, whether it's a legal secretary or a receptionist of sorts, someone is there, a human face is there to meet them.
That person doesn't have to be there 24 hours a day. Would you agree?
No, I agree, absolutely agree. Yes, it can be a part-time role. Now, from the moment that initial introduction happens, all meetings can then be either online or in person. Would that be right, Peter?
Absolutely. And wouldn't it even be better if the person who was in the office set up a video meeting and gave the potential client the choice whether they wanted to come back to the office and to sit there in the meeting room, and even maybe that person attend the meeting, or just to set it up so that person can then have literally a face-to-face conversation like we're having right now online.
I agree. And more of our lawyers are telling us that that's the way they're conducting business with their clients. A lot of clients don't want to travel. They're more than happy to jump online and have the meeting.
And those clients in the country, sometimes they do like the face-to-face, and we're giving them an opportunity through technology to have a face-to-face meeting, and they don't even have to operate any technology themselves whatsoever. They can just walk into that office, sit in the meeting room, and have an online meeting with a senior lawyer or a lawyer who's qualified and experienced in their area of need.
And I suppose that the reason we're doing this video is that we have some really solid practices in the regions, and we want to open them up as opportunities for other lawyers, other firms who are not necessarily close by. We want to encourage the metropolitan lawyers to start thinking outside of the metropolitan area that have been established for a very long time, and they're looking to sell because the principals want to get a part-time retirement plan going and allowing them some freedom to not be tied up with the administrative work and the work outside of actually practicing law. A common issue, I know. But there are many very good practices in the regions that we're representing that have listed with us. And we're just wanting to just open people's minds to these opportunities.
And I've noticed that regional practices are much larger than you would expect. It makes sense in a way because there is a well-known shortage of lawyers in regions. So there are fewer firms and those firms are larger.
Well, I know that we're representing some regional firms that have between $1 and $2 million revenue fairly consistently. So I regard that as significant. There are other firms with between $500,000 and $1 million in revenue. So these are real opportunities to help metropolitan firms increase their revenue instantly.
And of course, technology solving the staffing problem. So if you're a city practitioner, you've got staff already, right?
Yeah, I think that once the matter is opened, then the solicitor actually doing the work can very easily be in the city, in your main office.
Isn't that a great way to have greater utilisation of your existing staff?
That's right. And all the administration can be centralised, and we see that as a real possibility for metropolitan firms to grow through the regions. So I think get in touch with us is the answer, and let us open these opportunities up to you for you to consider. Again, think outside the circle as such, the metropolitan circle. Some firms might decide it's important that they have someone there representing them on site, a solicitor on site. Well, what about sending a young solicitor who has a young family to a wonderful regional town where they can establish a life for themselves at a much more reasonable cost?
And not only that, but what about the principal having a place to escape and have a working holiday, maybe?
We have country practices inland, we have coastal practices with all the benefits that they offer for that escape.
All right, Stan. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Peter.